What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bucco Territory, presented to you by the Foul Territory Network. I'm your host, Noah Hiles, and as always, joining me are my lovely co-hosts, Josh Harrison, a.k.a. Jay Hay, and Platinum Key, a.k.a. Mark. Fellas, I don't know about you guys. I'm feeling festive. It's the holiday season, and the Pirates, they gave us a gift a little early to talk about. Mark and I broke it down. Breaking news Friday evening, the Pirates acquired Brandon Lowe, Jake Mangum, and Mason Montgomery in a 3-team trade involving the Houston Astros and the Tampa Bay Rays, and all they gave up was Mike Burrows. Mark, like I talked about, we had the instant reaction to this on Friday. But Josh, I'm really excited to get your thoughts on this trade. They add a rental power bat. They add a long-term switch hitter with some speed and a good glove in the outfield, and a lefty who can throw 102 on the mound, but struggles to get it into the zone consistently. And all they gave up was a guy who's probably going to be, at best, their number 5 starter this year. What's your takeaway on the trade?
Sitting here looking back on the trade, I think it's a good trade. One, we need to get a power bat. Lau was somebody that was on the radar. Who knows if that's just going to be the end of it? Who knows if they try to extend them? Hopefully, it goes well. This 1 year potentially down the road. But also getting is it Mangum? I believe the outfitter, and Montgomery. Was it Montgomery?
Yeah,
Saying
Mason
okay.
Montgomery is the left-hander. Yep.
Don't want to mess up any names. I think that's not a bad fit, especially you mentioned a switch hitter, somebody that can, potentially match up against both righties and lefties. Some speed. That's one thing that you want to continue to have in this game is some speed that can put pressure.
Yeah.
And for reading his tweet, from what I saw, he's excited to be there. So that's something that I think is, something to look forward to. Anytime somebody gets traded, you never know how they feel or whatever. But to see somebody that excited to come to Pittsburgh, I think Pittsburgh's gonna be pretty excited about somebody that's wanting to play for the black and gold. And I think that's being able to get 3 for 1, and for somebody that's gonna be maybe the 5th starter. You said I don't think it's a bad trade, and only time will tell. But I think it's a step in the right direction.
I agree. I mean, and you look. I mean, Pittsburgh fans should be excited about Mangum because their exposure to him was the first game he ever played against the Pirates. He went 5 for 5. So that's a pretty good first impression for them.
Like
and
second series of the season too. Yeah.
Yeah, early in the season. And then the other connection is, of course, he went to the same high school as Connor Griffin. They trained together at Grit Training down in Jackson, Mississippi. I had a chance to tour that facility. It's really cool. So they'll be working out all offseason together, and they'll be playing baseball together on the North Shore soon enough. Mark, we've had a couple more days for this to digest. Just any additional thoughts on this move and maybe some reactions to what Brandon Lowe had to say. He spoke with both the Pittsburgh media today over Zoom, and he joined our mother show, I guess you could say, on Foul Territory at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time on Monday afternoon. So what were your takeaways from just what you saw quote-wise and just overall any additional thoughts on this trade?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just Pirates fans that are excited about this trade. I think we've seen both Lau and Mangum now react pretty positively. Lau was talking about how he's excited to be in the lineup with Brian Reynolds and O'Neal Cruz and the protection that's going to offer not just him, but all 3 of those guys. It's that part's exciting. I want to touch back on Jake Mangum. The more I look at him, the more like the fit makes sense to me. Even if he's just off the bench, I mean, Josh brought it up, elite speed. I think 91st percentile on StatCast. He also plays amazing defense in the outfield. I was clicking through just a couple of his 5-star and 4-star catches, and there's some impressive jump off just reading the ball. So he can play all over the outfield. So the flexibility that he opens up, I mean, maybe he starts in left field while Garcia gets his footing. But I really, really like the Mangum addition, especially with the years of team control. He was just a rookie last year. So even if Lau ends up leaving, there's still stuff moving forward while Paul Skeens is here for the Pirates to rely on in this trade. And then Montgomery, obviously the stats aren't the prettiest thing, but you have a lefty probably going to be out of the bullpen who has similar extension to a guy like Bailey Falter. But then throws 97 instead of, I think Falter was sitting like 91, 92. So crazy extension, crazy speed. That's got to be tough. If he can figure out a way to improve his command and his control, look out. It could be an absolute steal. And another guy who, lots of years of control left. So if it does work out, it's going to look really good a few years down the line. So overall, I really encouraging trade.
Maybe a change of scenery or being around a different pitching coach or pitching philosophy may help him. And as you said, that's 97 plus with some good extension. There's somebody out there, hopefully with the Pirates, that will help him tap into something that allows him to command that, and that makes that bullpen that much dirtier.
Yeah, and bullpen guys, more than any other position in the sport, they go to a different team, and it is a completely fresh start, because I think coaching has the opportunity to reshape a career in the bullpen way more than it can at probably any other position. And I might be way off on that, but I just think their bullpen pitchers, their production is so circumstantial that finding the right way to utilize those guys, finding a staff that knows the exact leverage spots to bring them in, the exact matchups, all of that matters so much. And it's a really simple fix if you look at it for what the Pirates have with Montgomery. He's a two-pitch guy. He's high velo fastball, slider. He has the extension, and Mark threw out that name, Bailey Falter. Bailey Falter's metrics were fantastic at PNC Park. His game translated great there. And if you get a guy who can deliver the ball like him with a lot more velocity, we saw how effective that fastball was at PNC Park in Bailey's 2.5 seasons with the Pirates. I mean, that's encouraging. And even if you don't get him right, he's the third piece of that deal. Right. Mangum, like you said, Mark, I don't know if you could pick a better platoon partner for Garcia, because they're so yin and yang. I mean, the one guy's not high contact, but a lot of power, a lot of raw power. He's super young. Mangum's an older rookie, right? I mean, he was 28 as a rookie last year. He's someone who's going to be probably your best defensive glove out there in the outfield. A lot of speed, not a lot of power, but really good bat to ball. I think both Garcia and Mangum can end up being everyday outfielders for you one day. But Mangum is a guy who, regardless of what Garcia does, Garcia probably has the higher upside. Right. But Mangum's a guy who's probably going to end up starting 100-ish or more games for you for the foreseeable future, just because of his versatility, because he's a switch hitter, because of his speed, because of his defense. You can hit him ninth, you can hit him leadoff, you can match him up however you want in the lineup. And he's a guy where if someone goes down, you can find a way to put him in. Plug him in. So it makes a lot of sense there. And I guess now the question is, okay, so they went out and got Lowe. That's the thing we've been talking about in recent shows, right? Like, the trade was going to be the first domino that fell. It's pretty clear that they're probably not going to trade Keller now. They might make a couple of other trades, but it seems like the next big step here is a free agent signing. And the national reports indicate that the Pirates aren't backing away from this. I want to clear a couple things up before we get into Okamoto. I've thrown some names out there recently on shows, and I need to be a little bit more correct. I've thrown Nestor Cortez's name out there a lot. It's been pointed out to me that Nestor Cortez was injured, and he will not be available until August. That changes my stance on the Pirates pursuing him. Yeah. This is the first time I'm hearing this. Yes. So, that's my bad. And then the other one is Alec Baum. I said he had 2 years of control. I guess he only has 1. So, again, hey, guys, breaking news here. I'm human. I make mistakes. So that's my bad.
Appreciate the corrections, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt bad because I was like, well, shoot, now I got to sit on this and be wrong for the whole weekend. Or rather, I could have just waited a day and got it the next show. But it is what it is. But it seems like the big free agent that they're locked in on right now is Okamoto. My coworker at the Post-Gazette, Colin Beasley, wrote an insider report a couple days ago talking about how they've had multiple meetings with him over Zoom. I I would assume that that's how he would just meet with everyone because he lives in Japan. But it does show, like, not to make light of Colin's reporting, it does show that, I mean, if they've talked to him multiple times, there is some smoke there. I mean, they're continuing to check in. And now that we see what the market is, Murakami was supposed to be the guy who got paid more. And the fact that he only got, 2 years, $34 million?
Yep.
From the White Sox. And the team is also interesting because I kind of talked about it earlier on this show, like in recent weeks. I got a hunch that it was going to be these small market teams, not that Chicago's a small market, but small spending teams, I should say, that might be players for these guys because they are a bit more of a gamble with their advanced metrics. And seeing what Murakami went for, I think we have a better idea of the price range that Okamoto is going to go for. And that's right in Pittsburgh's wheelhouse to a point where I think they could sign this guy to a multi-year deal and still have money left over for an outfielder or a DH, however you want to go about it. If you want to go 1 year for Marcell Ozuna, if you want to go multi-year for Ryan O'Hearn, or if you want to make another big trade, maybe trade some prospects and try to get another controllable bat here as well. But it clearly seems like Okamoto is one of their main targets. They have a couple of weeks to go get him. Mark, what do you think? Does this guy fit in here? Is this the missing piece?
Oh, Okamoto makes so much sense, especially if he can continue to play third base. That would be kind of my question. He played over 400 innings at third base last year, but also 200 innings at first base. He's coming off a elbow injury that shortened his 2025 season. But this is a guy who in Japan, in 6 of his 8 seasons, hit 30-plus home runs. He had 41 home runs in 2023. He has a career 361 on-base percentage. 6-time All-Star, won 3 Gold Gloves. So there's a lot to like about Okamoto. He's 29, has that higher floor than Murakami. I think a lot of the concerns over Murakami that we were reading about really came to fruition when it came time to sign. It seemed like that strikeout rate really scared some teams off. But with Okamoto, that's a lot less of a concern. He's far more patient. He basically strikes out as much as he walks. I think he had like a 12% strikeout rate or 11% around there, and had a 210 WRC plus in 2025. So this is a guy who's dominated over in Japan. Obviously, it's a little bit of a risk with him transferring over to the United States. Will he be able to hit that high velocity that he's going to see in the majors that he hasn't in Japan? But at the same time, if you're going to get him for 3 years, $15 million a year, all right, I'll take that risk. What about you, Josh? What do you think?
I know you've been high on him since we've talked about, the possibility of the Pirates being involved with him. And listen to you talk to him, to have those numbers over there, talking the power numbers to go with the OBP, not that much of a strikeout rate. Obviously, that's something that is appealing. And there is going to be a question mark. How will that translate, over to, Major League Baseball? But baseball is a game of adjustments. So anybody that's coming over, anybody that's coming up from AAA, whatever the case is, the game is going to be a game of adjustments. So if he's already proven that, over his however many years he's played over there, that he's got this what of a track record, you see what he's capable of, and given the opportunity,
consistently,
right,
every year. Yep. So he's capable of doing that.
And given that, I think that. That is something that people will be willing to say, okay, he's not a 23, 24-year-old. He's you said 29.
Yeah, he's going into his age 30s.
So could be one of those things where like, you know what, this guy seems to be pretty established as far as himself, not maybe in Major League Baseball, but could be a little bit more appealing and say, you know what, we are willing to take this risk because he's shown that he can be patient. He's shown that he has power that can, change the game. And, with the acquisition of Lau and then the guys that he was talking about protecting, you add another guy like Okamoto. That makes that lineup not only a little bit more patient with him being in there, but that much more, powerful as well.
Right.
So I don't see it as being a bad signing. If they can pull it, I told you between those two, listening to him, go with the proven bat, especially now that Murakami's gone. If you can make this happen, this is a power bat that seems to, be able to know the strike zone and The only question mark is the translation. But as I said, I played with guys that have made that translation, and it wasn't pretty at first. But as I said, baseball is a game of adjustments. Once they got adjusted to it, they were battling just like everybody else, coming up with big hits and playing the game. It's like, okay, I see why this guy was having the numbers he had wherever he came from.
I mean, that's it, and like I don't like to just make the comparison based off of former Pittsburgh Pirates who came from overseas, but I mean the profile here is very similar to Jung Ho, right? Where there's pop in the bat, patient at the plate, like a very, very good understanding of the strike zone, a very fundamentally sound defender who can, in a good year, run into 25. At minimum is going to hit you 15. And yeah, and you can bat him anywhere 2nd through 7th in the lineup and you feel pretty good. Like, that's what they need right now. They need more competent right-handed hitting. And if you have to overpay a little bit for that, I mean, you're underpaying for Connor Griffin right now. You're underpaying for O'Neal Cruz right now. Paul Skeens. You're underpaying for so many other Jared Jones, Bubba Chandler, Hunter Barco, like Garcia, like Mangum, like any of the production you get aside from Brandon Lowe and Brian Reynolds offensively, you're probably going to be underpaying for, right? Like if any of the other guys in the lineup are going to produce, all of the other guys in the lineup they're on their rookie deals. So you're going to get above value. So if you have to overpay for it a little bit, this is the type of guy you overpay for, in my opinion, because this isn't someone where the Dodgers are going to get stuck in a bidding war over him. They'll just go get a proven commodity to play third base for them. Or another team, you're going to be bidding against teams who you can afford to outbid or at least afford to compete with as far as bankroll is concerned. So I think, this is the opportunity where, I mean, a third year after seeing what Murakami got offered at age 25, maybe you go 2 years with a third-year option. I don't know. But if you can just get league average, if this guy is just a 2-WAR player, this is a win. Yeah. That's what you need if you're the Pirates right now. Again, the bar should be a lot higher. But this is a player where if you can just get him to be a league average defender and a slightly above average bat, at third base, and then as he ages, maybe you platoon him with Spencer Horwitz. Maybe he becomes your full-time DH. That's a good problem to figure out later on in life. For right now, it seems like this is kind of perfect for what they're looking for. He seems to be well in their price range, and he might be a little more attainable than anyone else who plays his position. It might be an easier signing to get done than a Geno Suarez, and might have a better long-term impact than someone where Suarez is in his career. So I think it's a no-brainer. And again, the most appealing element of it all is that you can sign this guy to a multi-year deal. And if you're operating under the assumption that this team's going to have a payroll of around 100 to 110 million, you still have money left over to go get yourself a designated hitter.
You could still make some more moves.
Yeah, it's not going to be a $20 million a year AAV guy, but you can figure out, you still have prospects to trade, you still have a little bit of money to spend, and now you've successfully addressed, you've added 2 young controllable outfielders, you've added a 30 home run bat to your infield, you added a top 2 international prospect to your infield, and then you have money or prospect capital to add at least 1 more power bat, ideally from the right side. Now you're really looking, and by the way, the best prospect in baseball is coming up to be your shortstop. You're looking at what, 6-ish guys? 6 or I don't want to say the following number because I don't want to commit to the meme. But between 6 to 8 new guys coming in that could be a difference maker, and that's entering the offseason. What we all said needed to happen. It needed to be an overhaul. It was the worst offense in baseball, and we all agreed that no one's job should be safe. And while guys like Nick Gonzalez, sure, they could absolutely have a spot here next year, but it's not a guarantee. And if a Brandon Lowe comes in and takes their job, then that is what it is. And that applies for pretty much everyone else on the team. Brian Reynolds might have to shift to DH full-time or, maybe commit more to right field or vice versa. Maybe they end up putting Mangum in center field and they have to find a new spot for O'Neal Cruz. The point is, they're acquiring a whole bunch of new looks at the plate, and that's what they need. Because you would think at least probability would indicate at least a few guys are going to work out here.
Oh, yeah.
And their odds of improvement are drastically better the more they keep doing this.
This is a better team than last year already, and there's still more additions to come, hopefully. I think if you make one of like Okamoto and Marcell Ozuna, I think that's both within budget and they both fit. You have Ozuna DH, and then that's a lot of power added to this lineup just right there. And you don't have to rely on Garcia to just be an instant impact kind of guy. Let him develop
Get his
a little
feet
bit.
wet.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Things are. You can see the picture starting to form here of where they're going to be competitive.
And on top of that, right. Still got to do it, which all signs indicate that they're trying to move in the right direction. Where what we said, talk is cheap. They are definitely trying to what's the word I'm looking for? Trying to negate that or say that's not the case. Say we're gonna put actions to it.
Right.
And as you said, if Okamoto signed and they could still do more. Not meaning they're gonna go sign somebody for 20 million AAV, but you can definitely find some complimentary winning baseball by piecing together, knowing that you've addressed some of the needs that you've needed to, especially and we still don't know, but you felt on a Mitch Keller, so your pitching is still intact. That's a strength that you really haven't dealt from, that we kind of thought that Keller would have been gone, that you were going to deal from, that if he's staying around, that just makes your team that much better.
Yeah, right. I'd much rather keep Mitch Keller than both Burrows and Oviedo.
Yep. Right. So I'll make one final point before we move on. Two guys have been heavily criticized as, the reason why the Pirates have not been competitive since 2020. Ben Cherington and Bob Nutting. They've both taken a lot of crap on social media. One of them has done his job so far. Ben Cherington has made 2 solid trades. He flipped a guy who is a back-end starter for a top 100 prospect, the highest rated prospect he's brought in 7 years now as this team's general manager. And then he flipped another back-end starter for 3 major league contributors, one of them being a 30 home run bat all-star second baseman. Those are probably 2 of his best trades he's made in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's time for the other guy to step up. We've heard all this talk about how this money is going to be spent. All right, well, Ben's made the trades. He's dealt away some capital that he worked to accumulate, right? Like, he acquired Johan Oviedo. He didn't draft Mike Burrows, but he held on to him this long, and he made sure when he got rid of him that he got a pretty good return for him. So Ben's done his job, and I think they'll continue to make a couple more trades. And I'm not sitting here saying Ben Cherington should be manager of the year, but the point of this is simply to say that, all right, well, this is a two-way street here. So they've made the trades. Now it's time to spend money. And if you're not going to go out and sign a free agent, then the talk is cheap thing still applies.
Right.
It cannot just be trading away all of your pitching. It cannot just be trading away all of your farm system, because that, in a way, ends up hurting you in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to invest. It needs to be the signing. That's why they moved David Bednar, right? That's why they moved on from Brian Hayes, is to clear up money to spend. Granted, they signed a $7.5 million reliever, and they added, $11.5 million in salary with Lau, something around there. But there's room for more. There's all these reports about how payroll's going to go up and all that. All right, now's the time to do that with free agency. You could keep trading people away, but trades, obviously, that includes some form of subtraction. Whereas when you sign someone, you're just adding. And it's time to just add. It's been way too long. I think back to that face Josh made when we brought up the Ivan Nova stat.
Yeah.
And it's time to erase that stigma. And if you do that, if they pony up and sign a multi-year free agent, in addition to the moves that they've made, you're going to win back some of the fans that have walked away. Ultimately, it's going to take winning on the field to truly win this city back. But when I go on social media right now and I see some of the biggest critics of Pittsburgh Pirates baseball in my lifetime giving a head nod and a hat tip saying this is a step in the right direction, that says something to me. And so they need to keep it going. And the next step is make that free agent signing. And then fans like Mark, former Buccos like Jay Hay, they have a real reason to believe that this is a serious ball club that's worth contending and worth believing in. So,
well,
and you all watching. Oh, go ahead,
and I was
Josh.
going to say, before you get to where you go, to not cut you off, what that signing will do is what we've ultimately said. It'll make Pittsburgh desirable. You sign a free agent, now other people are like, okay, people are signing there. They look like, so you're ultimately not saying you want to make it desirable, but that's what it should be. Show that you want to win, show that you're trying to win these trades, and then you sign a free agent. So you can change the stigma of what has been around Pirates baseball.
And positivity can spread like wildfire.
Oh yeah,
in this game, when you get hot, Josh, you've been a part of it here multiple times where you've been a part of seasons where like 14, you guys were dead until you guys weren't, right? And it just people can get all in, and all of a sudden it becomes an attractive place when there's Paul Skeens and some bats, and you win a little bit and you make some noise, and the front office doesn't seem so out of touch. And okay, well, I actually can make a little bit of money here. Stigma can be erased. I just really hope, for the sake of all of our lovely viewers and subscribers, that they don't feel content after making 2 good trades in 7 years. All right, like you got to keep building here, and it's time to spend some money, not
spending
just
money
spend
this
some trade capital.
Will make it that much easier next offseason, and we're still going to have Paul Skeens, still going to have this young core that we can build around and compete with. So yeah, I mean, keep it going, but also look at investing now as investing in the future, and just makes things easier. So, I'm excited.
All right, you know what the people are excited for, Mark?
Oh, I'm ready
for our final giveaway of the holiday season. I'm wearing my Santa hat. It's time to give a gift away. Ho ho ho! All right, Josh, you showed him in our last episode an autographed bobblehead of yours truly, the guy in the middle, the 2-time All-Star, Jay Hay, the Hall of Pretty Gooder. He will sign it, send it right to your house, along with some armbands. Is that?
Yeah. One of my my on field, it's a Mims band, wristband with my face on it, the one that I wore on the field. So yeah, I'll get that out. I'll sign that as well too.
Awesome. So multiple signed items by Josh Harrison. This is what we've been building up to. We had free tickets, we had a couple of cards, an autographed Jay Hay card, a Paul Skeens rookie card. Now it's this, the big drawing, something everyone's been waiting for. Mark?
All right, so I just did a random number generator here on my phone, and ironically enough, 21 here. So there we go. Let's see, and on the list, 21 is going to be Margaret Elias. Elias?
Elias. Oh, okay.
Yes.
I believe they sent me an email explaining how big of a Josh Harrison fan they were. So I am really excited for them. Congratulations, Margaret Elias, I believe is their last name. Congratulations. Shoot me another email and send us your info. I'll forward it over to my lovely co-host Jay Hay, and we will get you that bobblehead. Congratulations winning. And guess what? To the people who didn't win, we're probably going to have other giveaways like this at some point in the season. And even if we don't, I hope you get a little something from subscribing to this show. We really appreciate everyone who does subscribe. Want to remind everyone to subscribe if you haven't already. We're still on that mission to 1,000. We're flirting with 800 right now, which again, crazy that we're building up this quick. Hopefully we can eclipse that 1,000 mark early on in the new year and keep building to newer goals. It's been, what is it now? About 2 months since we started this show.
Yep.
Has it been?
It's been a lot. And it's been a lot of fun so far. And we haven't even had actual baseball to talk about yet.
Right.
We've had 2 trades and a whole bunch of athletic columns to react to. So I'm excited as we get into the thick of things. You know, pitchers and catchers report in less than 100 days from now. It's getting real. So
yeah, I think 93 days or so. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or I guess less
93
than
days.
that.
I think
that's
that actually
spring
might be
training.
till opening day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that is
I,
opening day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess I can
Pitchers
count
and
down
catchers
now.
report late.
I used to not count down.
Statcast.
Yeah,
You
It
just
just
go
right.
to
Yeah.
Statcast. They have a little
you
tracker.
used to blink, and then it was like, dang, we're back in spring training. Now I'm
Yeah.
like, oh man, dang, it's been 2 months since we've been recording this. Time goes fast.
Awesome. Guys, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
No, just let's get Okamoto done so we can keep it moving.
One more present under the Christmas tree, and I'd be a very happy boy. So yeah, Okamoto would be awesome. We'll see with this like little mini pause leading up to Christmas if we get any hot stove activity, and if we do, we'll hop on here and break it down with you guys. So looking forward to it. Thanks again to everyone that subscribed.
Absolutely. I just want to wish everyone a happy holidays, whatever you celebrate around this time. And if you're just celebrating good vibes, I wish you that too. It's a good time to just smile and feel good about the world we live in. And if talking baseball for a little bit here on YouTube brings that to you, then I'm very grateful to have had that opportunity. So for Platinum Key, a.k.a. Mark, and Jay Hay, a.k.a. Josh Harrison, I'm Noah Hiles, signing off for another episode of Bucco Territory, presented to you by the Foul Territory Network.